Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out True Off My Chest. Story 1. Baby trapped my GF. As the title goes, I trapped my GF. I gave her fake placebo pills as BC while giving raw sex to her. Long story short, she's 26 weeks pregnant. Engaged and living with me. Story 2. I hate being the broke parents. My 7-year-old has been begging for karate lessons for a really long time. I saved and saved until I thought I could get him at least 4 months worth of lessons. I figured by the time it came to re-up, I'd have saved more money. I signed him through a back-to-school special and he started last night. Well, it turns out they got rid of their 1-night-a-week tier. Which I understand why, but it was the one I has been budgeting for. The next tier up is 2 days a week and at least $30 more. I wasn't expecting that. I can manage 2 months of lessons now. I'm not sure what to do after that. We don't really have the money to be spending $200 a month on something extra. I just want to cry. My kid is so excited. He had the best time last night. I just don't know how I am gonna swing it. I feel like this is a running theme lately. We just can't afford to give our kids the things we want to. Hubby and I bust our asses working. I work 2 part-time jobs even. Just so we can break even. Meanwhile, the other parents are sending their kids to summer camp or have them all signed up for extracurricular activities. They are throwing the fun birthday parties. My kids don't complain or push us for more than we have. They don't know how broke their parents are. And I am grateful for that. I just feel so sad that I can't give them more. Story 3. I feel gross and sad. I feel pretty gross and sad. The reason is twofold. One is that I have going to the gym for months now and have looser fitting pants but unfortunately still a bit of a belly, and caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror on the weight bench, and while my arms were alright, the belly profile shook my confidence quite a bit, truth be told. The second reason is my partner has not been making any advances on me and I feel like I'm not attractive anymore as a result of this. They went out to a bar with mates tonight and were apparently getting chatted up all night. I know nothing happened, but at the same time they were laughing randomly when they got back, and when I asked why they said no reason and then laughed more. I'm planning a very aggressive cut soon and a more dedicated gym lifestyle, and the hope is that it makes some improvement to my physique so I can feel more confident in myself. Story 4. I'm a wedding officiant. If you spend more than you can afford on your wedding, you will be divorced within a few years. It's sad, but I can see a divorce coming a mile away. It's easy. When the couple has spent beyond their means to put on their wedding, they are almost always doomed for divorce. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't tell you why. My guess is it has to do with overcompensation for true feelings that are missing, so they hope a big show will be the stand-in for missing love. Let me tell you, this is a very expensive mistake. Story 5. Feel so guilty for my relationship with my mom. I just don't know what to do. My mom was always such a great mother. She was a supporter, a great listener, gave great advice, I mean the perfect mom I could have ever asked for. A few years back she had a traumatic brain injury from getting hit in the head with a softball. When it happened and she was in the hospital, it felt like my whole world was falling apart. I thought I was going to lose my mom. Long story short, she basically had to learn to walk and talk again. It's been a few years, and if you didn't know about her injury before meeting her now, you would never know. She's got a doctorate degree since and still working. However, she's a terrible mother and wife now. I feel so fucking bad saying that because her injury was not her fault, but it changed her completely. All she cares about is herself, and if it's not all about her, she makes everyone feel as guilty as possible. She's constantly complaining about my dad even though he was there for her every step of the way through it all, and honestly I couldn't imagine someone being as patient as he was with her through it all, and still to this day. He obviously gets upset sometimes because it's a lot to deal with every single day, but she just doesn't understand that. I can't even talk to anyone about it because I'm sure I sound like a freaking insensitive asshole who should be more considerate of my mother and her injury, but when you knew her before how me and my family did, and have to deal with it and constantly let it go, it drives you freaking insane. I was trying to have a nice conversation with my mom a few hours ago over, and she turned it all about her and how my dad is the worst. I lost my shit and now I feel so damn bad. I'm going to apologize because I feel horrible and I'm sure she feels worse, but I know it's going to happen again and I just don't want to feel like this anymore. Story 6. Just took the LSAT for the first time. I feel very proud of myself. It was hard and my head hurts, but I'm done. Time to treat myself to a quesadilla, some ice cream, and a bad Netflix movie, smiley face. Story 7. I want to crawl out of my own skin. I do not want to be me. I do not want my problems. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to not know where I will be sleeping next. I do not want to be in this shell I live in. My life is a fucking mess I do not know how to begin to untangle. There is absolutely no one I can talk to that would understand the thoughts that go through my head or the things I'm feeling, nor is there anyone who would care enough to listen or be bothered by them. No one can be with someone who's inside their head as much as I am. It's not normal to be crying for 3 straight days. Nothing about me is normal anymore. I wish I knew how to save myself. Story 8. I'm a menace. M19, my body count is 9 and 5 of them are my cousins and a MILF. Sometimes I feel like a Hokage about this, but mostly the deep regret inside me grows more and more as years pass by. Story 9. I might eat myself to death. More than a decade of severe depression, anxiety, loneliness, loss, grief, suicidal thoughts. I can't kill myself, so I eat. I eat a lot. I wish I had a better coping mechanism, but I don't care enough. I guess it's better than drugs, but at least I would be skinny. Honestly, eating addiction is probably just as bad as drugs. It can easily lead to diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, strokes, heart attacks, the list goes on. My body is not gonna last much longer, which is fine. I pray every night that I peacefully die in my sleep. Story 10. My bully is a girl who is threatening to beat the shit out of me this year. I'm a guy who somehow got on the wrong side of a girl who is now basically my bully and threatening to kick the shit out of me this year. My school will likely do nothing because fights happen pretty often with little repercussions unless it's right in front of teachers. Basically what happened is that I help out in the computer lab and something I did got one of her friends in big trouble. I didn't snitch or anything, but I found something suspicious and it got traced to her, and then eventually it got out that I was the one who basically caused her to get caught. So, I am tall guy and she is smaller girl, so I should not be worried, but I have literally never been in a fight. I am basically uncoordinated and terrible at sports and she is an athlete. She also has been in fights, including with guys, and she beat the crap out of a guy that is a lot tougher and stronger than I am. So, it's been escalating. I ran into her this summer and she basically told me that I shouldn't come back to school and I was gonna get my ass kicked. She was with some other girls and they just laughed and snickered. Story 11. My son is forcing my family to learn a new language and I couldn't be happier. I, 30F, am very hard of hearing. I was in a bad accident several years ago and lost most of my hearing. I also suffered a traumatic brain injury, but have since learned a lot of techniques to keep it from hindering my daily life. Before the accident, I was learning sign language because I worked with a lot of deaf people. Afterwards, I threw myself into learning the language and also learning to lip read. I am very good at lip reading, probably understand about 50% and figure out the rest with context clues. My family didn't flat out refuse to learn for me, but no one really took initiative. They honestly can't be bothered, really. It's not malicious on their part, but it's clearly an inconvenience, which I understand. Still, family gatherings can be really tough, with feeling left out. However, 19 months ago, I had my son, and then a daughter 6 months ago. My son has a few words that he knows, but he knows a lot of sign. He can tell me what he wants to eat, where he wants to go, how he's feeling, tired, hungry, thirsty, etc. He can describe animals and even tell me what movie or show he wants to watch. My point is, he is a very good communicator. In sign language. Mine and my husband's families think it's adorable. But it also means, if they want to properly communicate with him, they need to learn the language he is most familiar with. Most people just ask me what he's saying, but if they're around him enough, like my in-laws and my brothers, they've started learning by proxy. There was a small event recently that really triggered everyone to learn more in the last couple of weeks. My son fell and hit his head, resulting in the need for a CT scan. The tech had to strap him down, kinda swaddle him, which 100% took away the use of his hands. He was really scared and pretty upset and told me so when he could use his hands again. When I mentioned it to my family, I think it made it really clear to a lot of them, how important signing is for him. It honestly doesn't really bother me that much that nobody ever learned for me. But I am absolutely over the moon that they're learning for my son. Even though I know that one day, when my son starts communicating more and more by speaking, they probably won't keep it up and forget. But the fact that they're willing to do it for the time being is enough for me. Story 12. I want my ex's older brother. Me and this ex broke up about a year back, but had dated for nearly 3 years. As a result, our families got very close, to the point where his oldest brother actually works for my father. Only issue is that me and this brother share quite a few interests, and I've fallen pretty hard for him. Me and the ex ended on a good note, and are still friends. We just realized things weren't working out for us, and we ended the relationship. Should I go for it? Should I not? Story 13. It's my 16th birthday but my mom went on a date instead. So today is my 16th birthday. I'm naturally an introvert and don't have any friends. I don't have money. I don't have a dad. My life is me and my mom. No grandparents alive anymore. I don't have anything but her, but my mom is wild. She drinks, does drugs, meets up with random guys and usually doesn't come home for days. Dhs and been to my home before but just gave my mom a talking to and let. I'm homeschooled and I actually do my work besides watching TV. It's all I have. I only have Wi-Fi because my neighbors doesn't have a password on it. My mom woke up and said she was going to be gone a few days and if I need food to call a church or something. Yeah, real good parenting advice that has never worked before. She doesn't even say happy birthday to me. She tells me to do my homework and leaves some birthday. I'm just alone and hungry. I wish my mom just cared. Thank you for reading. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.